What's up? Rob here, Old City Vapors, with another edition of
Weird Wednesday.
What's going on? This is part two of Weird Wednesday, number 59, This Old House. That's right, I go back to the old house, the one that I grew up in. And this time we go in the attic. And I say we, I had a friend go with me. My friend John Mark that I work with, he so graciously agreed to go in the attic with me. Yeah, he said he'd go, and well, maybe, but yeah, he actually went in the attic. Several people commented on my last video, man, you shouldn't do that by yourself. I got a few emails, shouldn't go and do that stuff by yourself. I agree. Being in the main part of the house by myself, I don't really mind. It's weird, but I'm used to it. Grew up there, no big deal. Going in the attic, probably best to have somebody with me. The house itself, while a lot of it's still structurally okay, there's some places that are not structurally okay. So yeah, it sucked to be in there by myself, and fall through the floor or something, or whatever. I'm prone to that kind of thing. So yeah, it's good to have somebody with me. So we went in, and we do in fact go in the attic. The upside is, yeah, we went in the attic. The downside is we were in the house about 2 hours. I filmed the entire thing, and I have no sound. Why? I don't know. I have no explanation. I use the same camera, the same recorder, everything. Always the same. This time I have no sound. It happens, I guess, at the most unopportune time. But anyway, so I had to go back and overdub my voice on this so you can hear, what's going on, so it's not just through the whole thing. Because the only sound I have is just white noise through the entire video, the whole thing. Nothing but white noise. No voices, no nothing, just white noise. Weird, but I have no explanation why. So anyways, that's the explanation for that. At least I have one explanation. Like I say, he met me over there probably 10:30, almost 11 o'clock last week one night. I didn't review the tapes until yesterday, and that's when I realized, frack, I have no sound. So instead of just scrapping the whole thing, I figured, well, I'll show you what little bit of video, I cut it way down. Like I say, I videoed for almost 2 hours, but this is, I don't know, 15 minutes or so in the attic. We were up there all together 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Spent most of the time in the attic. And it's funky. It's a complete disaster area. All the insulation's fallen down out of the ceilings and the walls and everything. But there's a lot of cool stuff up there still. A couple of people commented who left all the stuff in the house. Well, we still own the house. My mom and my stepdad do. And there's still electricity in the house. So, you can turn the lights on. And I just choose not to because why would you? Anyways, there's, however, no lights in the attic. There are a couple lights up there, and of course, they don't work, right? There's one in the very back of the attic, and there's not even any light bulbs in there. Why would somebody take the light bulbs out? I don't know. I didn't do it. Anyways, here you go. This is part two of This Old House in the attic, and you'll hear me kind of explaining what's going on here and there. And I'll just say it's very, very dark, extremely dark. The only lights we had were a little headlamp flashlight that I was wearing, and we had flashlights in our pocket because you always got to go with a backup or two or three. So it's dark, funky, and it was extremely freakishly quiet, like being in a vacuum of space quiet. That was the freaky thing about it. So without further ado, let's take a look in the attic and see what we find. All right, here we go. We're back in the house, and this is part two of Weird Wednesday, number 59, This Old House. Like I said before, I had a friend of mine from work, John. He came over to the house, met me over there, and he was like, hey, man, I'll go in the attic with you. But I'm not going by myself. Yeah, so
we're going up the stairs here, and other than the audio problems when we first entered the house, we heard a couple. We're just downstairs talking, getting stuff ready, and we hear that traditional thump, big bump coming from upstairs somewhere, and we heard it a few more times throughout the evening, but only when we were downstairs this time. Uh, the house this particular evening was extremely quiet. Um, extremely quiet, like creepedly quiet. Not a whole lot of activity going on downstairs or upstairs, and there's the attic door, and that is where we're going. Um, Got to move the chair that's in front of the door, and one thing I didn't notice when we were actually doing this was watch the door handle when I go to unlock it. The door handle actually moves before my hand actually moves it. I don't, may have been just from the lock itself. I don't know, but if you catch it, the door handle actually moves before I actually touch it to open it, which is kind of strange. Um, like I say, no lights in here, just using the headlight, little flashlight that was on my head. And unfortunately, you can't hear our, you know, banter back and forth because both of us were a little sketched out right about now. But yeah, did you see that door handle move? Um, Anyways, the steps up to the attic. Uh, the electrical, the light has looks like it has been broken off, burnt off, whatever. No lights up in the attic whatsoever, other than our one little headlight and the little flashlights that we did have in our pockets. Because it is one dark, yeah, it's dark up there, big time. But not to fear, we turned the lights out too. Um, anyways, going up the steps, really steep steps, and pretty sketchy stairway there, and a couple of the steps are actually pretty rotten. So gotta definitely be careful where you're walking here. But you open the bottom door, which is on the second floor, goes up to the attic, which is basically like a third door, and there's a door at the top of the attic. Now, right when you're going up the attic steps, once about halfway up, you'll see here in a second. I'm gonna turn around, and there is a big, huge attic fan right there. So that always kind of creeped me out because you're walking up, and your head is like open to whatever may want to reach through there and grab it, which always scared the crap out of me. So I always have to turn around right there and look at it, and face it or whatever. So, anyways, we're at the door at the top of the attic. It was locked as well, and we pushed it open there, and now we are entering the attic. And the attic is a freaking mess. Um, all the insulation that were in, the walls and the ceiling has pretty much fallen out, and it's all on the floor. And there's still several things up in the attic, which you'll see here momentarily, maybe. Like I say, it's really dark up here. But yeah, there used to be insulation all in this entire attic. It's all pretty much been, fallen out and is on the floor. And it's quite a mess. There used to be a ton of things up here, and a lot of stuff has been brought down. There's still several old trunks up here, and some other stuff, some old books and stuff, which you'll see here in a bit. That brick thing is actually the chimney that comes up from the downstairs all the way up through the house, all the way to the top of the roof. And yeah, it's a mess up here, without a doubt. Very dark, very creepy, and I'm glad somebody was with me because, like I say, this place has freaked me out. Unfortunately, it was, like I said, extremely quiet. I mean, you could have heard a friggin' pin drop in this attic. And what's weird is the windows, the vents or whatever on either end of the attic were open, so you could hear the noise from the outside. But like in other words, you could hear when a car drove by or something like that. Other than that, you could not hear anything, nothing. I mean, you could hear your heart beating, and that was about it. It was very creepily quiet up here. So just kind of walking around a little bit right now and looking at what's up here. I haven't been up here in a long time. You can see there's an old bookcase or whatever. Has a bunch of really old books in it. We found several different things up here that were pretty cool. Some really cool old books, some illustrations, some drawings. Just I don't know, all kinds of stuff that's still up there. Some more stuff needs to be gone through and seen what's has any value to it or whatever. A lot of this stuff that's up here, a lot of these old books and everything, didn't belong to my family. They were here when we originally moved in this house back in 63, 64. The people that my dad bought this house from, the old man, he had passed away. The wife had the place, and she sold it to my dad and pretty much left everything there. She like packed a suitcase and left everything else in the house. So a lot of these old books and stuff and drawings and photographs and who knows what have been there for I don't know how long. The house itself is over 100 years old, and there's a lot of stuff that's still up there that who knows, a lot of it's just kind of trashed now, but some of it's still in pretty good shape. We looked in a few trunks and stuff, and most of them were empty. There were some that had some stuff in it, and one in particular was one that my mom apparently had packed up there, and a lot of stuff. We had to kind of figure out how to get in it. A lot of stuff. It was an old cedar chest, not as old as these ones that are seen here, but it was pretty daggum old. And it was a cedar chest, and we got it open, and everything in it was amazingly like intact and like perfectly fine. One of the really bizarre things about this house is, and my friend John made a note, said something to me about it. You would think a house like this, in this bad a condition, would be full of bugs and, rodents and stuff. You do see some spider webs, and, there's some spiders and stuff here and there. Spider webs like a, traditional old creepy house would have. The whole time we were in here, rummaging through stuff, looking through stuff, moving stuff around, especially up in the attic and all. No bugs, no roaches, no nothing. And when I say quiet, I mean the place is like, this particular night, it was insanely quiet. I do have some recordings on my little handheld recorder. And I did an EVP session up in the attic and again downstairs, and haven't listened to all of it yet, but it did contain some sound, so I'm gonna have to check that out. And but like I say, man, it was creepily quiet. It was the most quietest place I think I've ever been in. It was insane. It was not normal is what I'm getting at. But yeah, some of these drawings and stuff in this old chest here, really, like, there's like some blueprint looking drawings and like illustrations of stuff that were just insanely detailed. I have no idea what or where this picture was taken from. There's obviously mountains in the background, so it ain't Florida. Who who knows? We'll have to maybe investigate some of this stuff a little further. But like I say, some of the drawings and stuff were just incredibly detailed in here. I think there's a clip coming up of some of that. But yeah, you can see all that crap on the floor is all insulation that has fallen out of the ceiling. There you go. I mean, look at these drawings. They're like super detailed. Um, I don't know, from the 1900s. I don't know how old they are, but they're pretty daggone old. And what is that thing? I have no idea. But yeah, there was some strange stuff in the books. There's a lot of books up there on different languages, uh, field guide to the stars, just all kinds of stuff. So who knows? Um, Unfortunately, like I say, we don't have any sound from the actual video, so you can't really hear obviously what we're saying and what it sounds like in there. So what does that tell me? That tells me I'm gonna have to go back with the video camera and make darn well sure everything's working again, and go back up in the attic. So there's gonna be part 3 and part 4, and who knows how many parts to this old house. So and we ain't talking Bob Vila's old house either. This is my old house, so it's pretty trippy up there. Gonna have to bring the ghost box up there, and this is one little weird toy that was on the floor, and if the camera will focus, yeah, it's some little devil looking critter there with a pitchfork, and his head's broken off. I didn't do it. I don't know where it came from. No idea. Fitting to find in the attic though. There's that one chest I was talking about that we got open, and you can see it's covered with filth, but actually the chest is pretty doggone nice. I talked to my mom about pulling this thing out of there, and it's cram full. I'll get it open here in a minute, and you can see what's in it. And I actually brought home one of the things that's in this chest, and it's a Barbie doll from 1962. It's a brunette bubble cut Barbie from 1962, and there it is, right there in the box. Still in the box, never been taken out of the box, and who knows? I don't know. I looked a few of them up to see what it was worth. I had to get with my mom with it. She bought it sometime way back. I think she paid $3 for it because it has a $3 little handwritten thing on the end of it. But Barbie in the box. Brunette, bubble cut, 1962. Barbie, imported from China. So yeah, there's not a ton of stuff like this up there, but there's a few things, and this one came home with me. And it was kind of funny because my buddy John said, yeah, go ahead and take it home. It could be the vessel. And I brought it home, showed my wife, and she was like, holy crap, that's cool. I used to have one of these just like this. Look, a black mammy doll. You don't see those too often. With the creepy button eyes. Yeah. Anyways, my wife was checking out the Barbie, and she was like, yeah, that's cool. And I went to set it over by our TV, which has some other little figures and stuff. And she was like, oh, hell no, you take that and put that in your room. You take that, right, and get it in your room with all the sage and everything else. I'm like, what do you think? It might be the vessel of weirdness to bring into our new house. She was like, yeah, whatever. Just put it in your room. So that's what I did. It's sitting here right next to me right now. But yeah, opening this chest, man. Who knows when the last time it was open? But you can see on the inside, everything is, it's old, but it's not funkily decrepit old. It's old, and it smells of cedar, really nice cedar. So that keeps the bugs and stuff out. Apparently works well. So if you want to keep a bunch of old stuff, put it in the cedar chest and seal it up. There you go. So anyways, I don't know what that was hanging there. Kind of strange looking. But yeah, the attic, man. It's a trippy place. We hung out up here for probably a good 30-45 minutes at least. Like I say, right here, we're standing here, and by the way, there's a hole in the floor right there that you can see that you don't want to step in. I know I don't want to step in it because you'd be falling through. So you got to be really careful up here. Most of it is, fairly solid, but there's definitely some damage there in the roof, dripping down to the floor, through the ceiling. That's where that plaster was falling down. And right here is where we turn the lights out. And it's that's not just a blank screen, that's a black screen. That is how dark it is in the attic with no lights on. There's another light that is up in the attic, just one light, and I tried to turn it on, but is it gonna work in a creepy old attic? Hell no, the light's not gonna work. So we just turned the lights out completely. Lights. I say the lights. I say the headlight that I was wearing. We turned it out, and we just stood there and listened. And we got absolutely nothing. Quiet as quiet could be. Insanely quiet. No mumbling, no shuffling, no bumping, nothing. Completely silent. Like in a vacuum type of silent. It was weird. I've been in quiet places before, but like I said, I don't even know how to explain how quiet it was up there. It was like being in a vacuum or something. It was just bizarre. But we stood in here for I don't know how long, like this for 5-10 minutes, and I turned my red lamp on, and then turned the regular lamp back on, and continued to kind of sift around through the attic. But nothing of any really weirdness happened. I was kind of bummed. Well, I was a lot bummed because I know this attic holds some kind of weirdness, and I can't explain it yet. But I am going to go back and check it out again, and we'll see if we can get a little bit more in depth of what's going on in the attic. So who knows? Definitely a freaky place for sure.